Warning. 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 What follows is a transmission from Chicago, Illinois.
What you out there? Yes, clear. Loud and clear. Pacific.
2423 line, we'll get the mobile station.
Amanda, C7?
Yes, ma'am, we'll be clear, and 233 will be clear on the N4 E. Edward, and so we both be a 50.
October 12th, 2028. My name is David Rosen. I'm recording this on my phone. I don't know if anyone will ever hear it, but I need to say this. I need to document what's happening. If you're listening to this, if someone finds this, you need to know what we knew when we knew it. What we did in those last minutes before everything changed. It's 3:19 p.m., October 12th, 2028. I'm in Chicago, downtown, the Loop. I work for an engineering firm. We design buildings, bridges, infrastructure, normal stuff, safe stuff. 3 minutes ago, every phone in our office got an emergency alert. The sound, that horrible blaring sound, it came from everywhere at once. 30 phones, all screaming the same message. Ballistic missile threat inbound to Chicago. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. At first, nobody moved. We all just stood there, staring at our phones like they were malfunctioning. Like this had to be a mistake, a hack, a test that went wrong. Then someone turned on the TV in the break room. Every channel was showing the same thing, emergency broadcast, the seal of the Department of Homeland Security. That robotic voice that sounds like it's reading your death sentence. Multiple ballistic missile launches detected. Targets include major metropolitan areas. Chicago is confirmed target. Estimated impact time, 30 minutes. Seek underground shelter immediately. This is not a drill. That's when the panic started. People were running, grabbing their things, calling loved ones, crying, shouting. Someone knocked over a desk. Papers everywhere. A woman from accounting was screaming into her phone, trying to reach her daughter at school. Our office manager, Patricia, she's ex-military. She was the only one who kept calm. She started yelling at everyone to stop, to listen, to move in an orderly fashion. She said we needed to get to the sub-basement. Now. Our building has 3 basement levels. The lowest one, B3, that's where the mechanical systems are. Boilers, electrical panels, water mains, concrete walls 3 feet thick. Built in 1957 when people were worried about Soviet nukes. It's the closest thing we have to a bomb shelter. Patricia said if we stayed calm, if we moved quickly, we could all make it down there. She said we had time. I looked at my phone. 3:21 p.m., 29 minutes. We ran for the stairs. 32 people from our office. Some from other floors joined us. The elevators were packed. People were screaming at each other to move faster. I took the stairs. Going down 12 floors in a stairwell filled with panicked people is harder than you'd think. People were pushing, stumbling, dropping things. A man in front of me fell. I helped him up. We kept moving. I could hear it outside. Car horns, sirens, lots of sirens, screaming from the street. Chicago was trying to evacuate 30 minutes before the end of the world. We reached the lobby at 3:24 p.m. Through the glass doors, I could see Michigan Avenue. Complete chaos. Cars abandoned in the middle of the street. People running in every direction. A taxi had crashed into a light pole. Nobody stopped to help. The sky was still blue, clear, beautiful October afternoon. It didn't look like the last day of peace. Patricia led us to the basement access, a gray metal door next to the loading dock. I'd walked past it 1,000 times and never thought about what was behind it. Down we went. B1. Parking garage. People were trying to get to their cars, but the garage was gridlocked. Nobody was going anywhere. Some people gave up and ran for the stairs with us. B2. Storage level, dusty boxes, old furniture, abandoned filing cabinets. The lights were flickering. The power grid was probably overloading as everyone in the city tried to make phone calls at once. B3. The mechanical level. It was loud down there. The boilers were running, ventilation systems humming. The sound echoed off concrete walls. It smelled like machine oil and damp earth. There were 47 of us by the time everyone made it down. 32 from our office, 15 from other floors. Some people I recognized, some I'd never seen before. Patricia made everyone move to the far corner, away from the stairwell. She said if the building collapsed, that corner had the most structural support. I'm a civil engineer. I know she's right. I've run the calculations on building failures. I know what happens when structures take catastrophic damage. We huddled in that corner. Someone had their phone out, using it as a flashlight. The overhead lights were still on, but they felt too bright, too normal, like they didn't understand what was about to happen. I checked my phone. 3:27 p.m., 21 minutes. That's when I started recording this. I pulled out my phone, opened the voice recorder app, and hit record. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped it. I don't know why I'm doing this. Maybe because I need something to focus on. Maybe because if I die down here, someone should know what happened. Someone should know we tried. Or maybe I just need to hear my own voice. Need to know I'm still here. Still real. Still alive. For now. Around me, people are making phone calls. Everyone's trying to reach someone. Wives, husbands, children, parents. The woman next to me, Jennifer from payroll. She's crying while she talks to her daughter. The girl is at school, Oak Park Elementary. Jennifer is telling her it's going to be okay. Telling her to listen to her teacher. Telling her to go to the basement. She's lying. We all know she's lying. Oak Park Elementary doesn't have a basement. It's a single-story building from the 1990s. Brick walls, large windows. It wasn't built to survive anything. But Jennifer keeps saying it. You're going to be okay, baby. Mommy loves you. You're going to be okay. Across from me, Tom from Senior Design is on his phone with his wife. She's at home in Naperville, 30 miles west. She's asking if she should drive into the city to find him. He's telling her no, telling her to stay there, to go to their basement, to wait. She's arguing with him. I can hear her voice through the phone, high and desperate. She wants to be with him. Tom is crying now. He's telling her he loves her, telling her to take care of their son, telling her he's sorry. I should be calling someone, my brother in Seattle, my parents in Florida. But my hands won't stop shaking enough to dial. And what would I say? Patricia is doing a head count, making sure everyone made it down. She's moving through the group, checking on people, making sure nobody's injured from the rush down the stairs. Someone asks her what we should do, if we should try to get out of the city. She shakes her head. We're out of time. 20 minutes isn't enough to get anywhere safe. The highways are gridlocked. The trains stopped running. Our best chance is here. 3 levels of concrete between us and the surface. A man I don't recognize asks what's coming. What kind of missiles? What kind of warheads? Patricia looks at him for a long moment. Then she says, "Does it matter?" It's 3:31 p.m. now. 17 minutes. Someone turned on a TV that's mounted on the wall near the electrical panels. I didn't even know there was a TV down here. Probably for the maintenance crew. Every channel is showing the same thing. News coverage, split screens, multiple cities, New York, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Houston, all of them with the same emergency alerts. The anchors are trying to stay professional, but you can hear it in their voices, the fear, the disbelief. One of them, a woman on CNN, her voice cracks when she says, "We're receiving reports that this is a coordinated attack from the Sino-Russian coalition." Sino-Russian coalition. That's what they're calling it. Like it's a sports league. Like it's something organized and civilized. It's World War III. That's what it is. But nobody wants to say it out loud. The screen switches to footage from somewhere. Looks like the Pacific, naval vessels, hundreds of them. Moving in formation. Then the screen switches to satellite imagery. Thermal displays showing missile launches, dozens of them. Bright orange spots against a black background. All of them heading east, heading toward us. Someone in our group starts praying. The Lord's Prayer. Others join in. I'm not religious, but I find myself mouthing the words anyway. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. On the TV, a military analyst is explaining the trajectory of hypersonic missiles. How fast they travel. How little warning time we have. How difficult they are to intercept. He's using technical terms. Mach numbers, ballistic curves, terminal velocity. He's describing the mathematics of our death. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. I'm thinking about my apartment, 20 blocks from here. 3rd floor walk-up in Lincoln Park. I left my coffee mug on the kitchen counter this morning, half full, still sitting there, waiting for me to come home and finish it. I'm never going to see that apartment again. Give us this day our daily bread. Jennifer's still on the phone with her daughter, but she's not talking anymore. She's just listening to her child's voice, memorizing it. And forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. It's 3:36 p.m., 12 minutes. The TV is showing footage from earlier today. Those bomber formations over Alaska, the naval deployments, the satellite images of American military assets moving into position. They're calling it Operation Northern Thunder, the largest military deployment since World War II. America struck first, hours ago. While most of us were sleeping or eating breakfast or sitting in traffic, our military launched a massive assault on Russia and China. And now they're responding. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Someone asks Patricia if Chicago has missile defense systems, if there's anything that can stop what's coming. She's quiet for a moment. Then she says, "Chicago has some defensive capabilities. But against hypersonic missiles, against this many incoming targets, the intercept rate is maybe 20-30% if we're lucky." Someone does the math out loud. If 20 missiles are coming and we intercept 30%, that still leaves 14 hitting the city. 14 nuclear warheads. 14. Patricia doesn't correct them, doesn't tell them the missiles might not be nuclear, doesn't offer false hope. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. The prayer ends. The basement is quiet except for the humming of machinery and the quiet sounds of people crying. On the TV, they're showing a map of the United States. red dots appearing over major cities. Each dot represents a confirmed incoming missile. There are 37 dots. Chicago has 3. I'm watching those 3 red dots on the screen, and I'm thinking about the city above us. The city I've lived in for 15 years. The city I helped build in my small way, with my blueprints and calculations and structural analyses. I'm thinking about Millennium Park, the Bean, the Lakeshore, Navy Pier, the Magnificent Mile, the Willis Tower, Wrigley Field. I'm thinking about the 2.7 million people who live here. The people in their homes, their offices, their cars. The people who got the alert 12 minutes ago and are now desperately trying to find shelter. I'm thinking about the children in schools, the patients in hospitals, the elderly in nursing homes. The people who can't run, can't hide, can't do anything but wait. It's 3:41 p.m., 7 minutes. Tom just hung up his phone. He's staring at it like he doesn't understand what it is, like it's some alien artifact. Jennifer is still listening to her daughter. Her eyes are closed, tears running down her face, but she's not making a sound. A young guy, can't be more than 25, intern from the architecture department. He's having a panic attack, hyperventilating. Patricia goes to him, makes him breathe slowly, in through the nose, out through the mouth. He calms down a little, but we're all thinking it. We're all feeling it. 7 minutes left. The TV is showing footage from Russia now. Cities on fire, Chinese cities too. The American attacks from this morning are being reported. The scale of destruction is massive. Thousands dead already. Maybe tens of thousands. And now it's our turn. Someone says, maybe they'll miss. Maybe the missiles will malfunction. Nobody responds. We all know better. Modern missiles don't miss. They're guided by GPS, by inertial navigation, by terminal guidance systems that can put a warhead within feet of its intended target. If those missiles are aimed at Chicago, they will hit Chicago. The only question is where. I'm looking around at the 47 people in this basement. 47 lives. 47 stories. 47 families waiting for phone calls that might never come. We're all strangers. Most of us never spoke before today. But right now, in this moment, we're everything to each other. We're the last people we might ever see. It's 3:44 p.m., 4 minutes. Patricia is moving through the group again. She's telling everyone to get down, to lie flat on the floor, to cover their heads, to stay away from the walls. She's using her command voice, the voice that expects to be obeyed. People are lying down, curling up. Some are holding hands with whoever's next to them. Jennifer finally hung up her phone. She's lying on the concrete floor, curled into a ball, sobbing. Tom is next to his wife on the phone still. He's whispering something I can't hear. Then he hangs up, puts the phone in his pocket, lies down. I should lie down too. I should follow the protocol. I'm an engineer. I know the physics. I know that being low, being flat, being away from walls, that gives you the best chance. But I'm still sitting here, still recording, still talking into my phone like it matters. Maybe it does matter. Maybe someone will find this. Maybe someone will know what it was like in these last minutes. Or maybe I just can't accept it yet. Can't accept that this is really happening. The TV is showing a countdown now. Estimated time to impact for multiple cities. Chicago is at 3 minutes 40 seconds. 3 minutes and 40 seconds until everything changes. I'm thinking about my brother, about how I was supposed to visit him next month. We were going to go hiking in the Cascades. I'm thinking about my parents, about how I called them last Sunday and we talked about nothing. Weather, work, normal things. I didn't tell them I loved them. Why didn't I tell them I loved them? It's 3:46 p.m., 2 minutes. The sirens outside are so loud now I can hear them even down here, through 3 levels of concrete. The whole city is screaming. On the TV, the countdown continues. New York, 1 minute 30 seconds. Los Angeles, 2 minutes 15 seconds. Chicago, 1 minute 50 seconds. Patricia is yelling at me now, telling me to get down, to stop recording, to protect myself. But I can't. I need to finish this. Need to say something that matters. My name is David Rosen. I'm 37 years old. I'm a civil engineer. I design bridges and buildings. I help build things that last. I'm in Chicago, in a basement, with 46 other people. We're about to die. Or maybe we're about to survive. I don't know which is worse. If anyone finds this, if anyone hears this, I need you to know something. We were scared. All of us terrified. But we didn't run. We didn't fight each other. We held together. We helped each other. That should mean something. 1 minute. Oh God. Everyone is on the ground now, covering their heads. Some are praying. Some are crying. Some are silent. I'm getting down too, putting my phone in my pocket, but I'm leaving it recording. 30 seconds. The machinery around us is still humming. The lights are still on. The TV is still showing the countdown. Chicago, 15 seconds. I can feel my heart beating, so fast, so hard, like it's trying to break out of my chest. 10 seconds. Please God, if you're there, if you're listening, please let us survive this. Please let my family be safe. Please let this not be the end. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the world ended.
224, I was going out there. 233 will be clear on it, and 4, and 2 we both did a 50. Radio is 6300 Clarksville.
Sound to Sound Pacific. What you out there? Yes, clear. Loud and clear. Pacific.
4423 live, we'll get the mobile station.
On the intercom. C7?
Yes, ma'am, we'll be clear, and 233 will be clear on it, and 4, E. Edward, and 2 we both did a 50.
I don't know how to describe it. I've spent my entire career studying structures, understanding how buildings respond to forces, how concrete cracks, how steel bends, how foundations shift. I know the physics. I know the mathematics. I know exactly what happens when a structure takes catastrophic damage. But knowing it and experiencing it are different things. The first impact wasn't what I expected. There was no explosion, no sound, not at first. What came first was the pressure, a wave of force that pushed through the building, through the concrete, through the earth itself. I felt it in my chest before I heard anything, like someone had reached inside me and squeezed. The floor bucked, not violently, almost gently, like the earth was shrugging. Then the sound came. It wasn't an explosion. It was bigger than that. Deeper. It was every explosion that ever happened, all at once, compressed into a single moment that lasted forever. The bass note of it hit first. So low I felt it in my bones, in my teeth. in the base of my skull. Then came the higher frequencies, the crack of concrete, the scream of metal, the roar of compressed air, and then came the shock wave. The building moved, the whole building, 12 stories of concrete and steel shifting on its foundation like a ship in a storm. The lights went out. In the darkness, I could hear people screaming, or maybe I was screaming. I couldn't tell. The sound was everywhere. Something hit me. Debris. A piece of ceiling. I don't know. I was on the floor, my arms over my head, and something heavy struck my shoulder. The building was still moving, swaying. I could feel it through the concrete, could hear the structural elements groaning, steel beams bending, concrete fracturing. This is what failure sounds like, I thought. This is what it sounds like when a building dies. I'm going to die here. We're all going to die here. The building is going to collapse and we're going to be buried under 12 stories of rubble and nobody will ever find us. But the building didn't collapse. It held. The swaying continued for what felt like hours, but was probably only seconds. Then it began to slow. The groaning of the structure faded. The debris stopped falling. And then there was silence. Not real silence. My ears were ringing. A high-pitched whine that wouldn't stop. But compared to what had just happened, it felt like silence. I tried to breathe. My lungs wouldn't work properly. The air was thick with dust. Concrete dust. Drywall. I was coughing. Everyone was coughing. Someone's phone flashlight came on. Then another. Weak beams of light cutting through the darkness and dust. I could see shapes. People on the floor. Some moving. Some not. Patricia's voice cut through the chaos. Sound off. Everyone who can hear me, say your name. People started responding. Voices in the dark. Some strong. Some weak. Some crying. Jennifer. Tom. Marcus. Sarah. I realized I needed to respond too. David, I said. My voice sounded strange, muffled, like I was underwater. Patricia was moving through the group with her phone light, checking on people. The count came back. 43. We started with 47. 4 people weren't responding. I could see Patricia moving toward the far corner where the ceiling had partially collapsed. Her light illuminated something I didn't want to see. Bodies, pinned under concrete. She checked for pulses, shook her head. 4 people. 4 lives. Gone in an instant. I didn't know their names. Never got the chance to ask. Someone was crying. A man's voice. Deep, broken sobs. Tom, I think. He was holding his phone, staring at the screen. No signal. The call to his wife had been cut off. How long? Someone asked. How long were we out? I checked my phone. The screen was cracked but still working. 3:51 p.m. 3 minutes. The impact had been 3 minutes ago. It felt like a lifetime. Patricia was organizing people, checking for injuries. We had cuts, bruises. One man had a broken arm. Another had a gash on his head that was bleeding badly. Jennifer was limping, but we were alive. 43 of us were still alive. What about the others? Someone asked. The other buildings? The rest of the city? Patricia shook her head. We don't know. Communications are down, power's out. We need to focus on us first. Make sure we're stable. As if in response to her words, the building groaned. A deep, structural sound that made everyone freeze. Is it going to collapse? Someone asked. Everyone looked at me. I'm the civil engineer. I'm supposed to know. I looked up at the ceiling, the overhead concrete. Most of it was intact, some cracks. One section had failed, the section that had killed 4 people. But the main structure seemed sound. I don't think so, I said. Not immediately, but I can't be sure without a proper inspection. What does that mean? Jennifer asked. I chose my words carefully. It means we're probably safe for now. But if there are more impacts, more shock waves, the damage could accumulate. Buildings don't usually fail from a single event. They fail from repeated stress, as if the universe was listening. The second impact hit. This one was different, more distant. The shock wave was weaker, but the sound was clearer. A thunderclap that rolled through the earth like a wave. The building shuddered but didn't sway like before. That was further away, Patricia said. Maybe a mile or 2. Then came the third impact. Closer than the second, but not as close as the first. Then the fourth. They kept coming, one after another, sometimes in quick succession, sometimes with gaps of silence in between. I lost count after 12. Each impact made the building shake, made dust fall from the ceiling, made everyone flinch and cover their heads. But the building held. Someone turned on the TV. Miraculously, it still worked. Must have been on backup power. But there was no broadcast. Just static. Every channel. Just white noise and snow. Try the radio, Patricia said. Someone had a battery-powered radio. They turned it on and scanned through the frequencies. Static, static, static. Then a voice, broken, fading in and out. Multiple impacts confirmed. Downtown Chicago. Infrastructure compromised. Emergency services unable to respond. If you can hear this, stay sheltered. Do not, repeat, do not attempt to leave. Fallout. The word fallout made everyone freeze. Nuclear? Someone whispered. The radio signal faded back to static. Patricia tried to find the station again, but couldn't. Whatever broadcast we'd heard was gone. We don't know if it was nuclear, Patricia said. Could have been conventional warheads. Could have been anything. But nobody believed her. We'd all heard that word. Fallout. I checked my phone again. 4:17 p.m. 29 minutes since the first impact. Half an hour ago, I was in a conference room reviewing blueprints. Half an hour ago, the world was normal. Now I'm in a basement with 42 other people, covered in dust and blood, listening to the city above us being destroyed. Tom was trying his phone again. Still no signal. He wasn't the only one. Everyone was checking their phones, trying to call out, trying to reach someone. Nothing. The network was completely down. We need to think about supplies, Patricia said. Water, food, medical supplies. If we're going to be down here for a while, we need to know what we have. How long is a while? Jennifer asked. Patricia was quiet for a moment. I don't know, days maybe. Depends on what's happened up there. Depends on whether it's safe to go up. Fallout, the man with the broken arm said. If it's nuclear, we can't go up. Not for weeks. maybe months. The reality of that settled over the group like a weight. We might be trapped down here for weeks, with limited supplies, limited space. 43 people in a basement designed to hold machinery, not humans. Let's inventory what we have, Patricia said. Everyone check your bags, your pockets. Food, water, medicine, anything useful. People started going through their things. Office lunches, water bottles, protein bars, aspirin, Band-Aids. It wasn't much. I had half a sandwich in my bag. Turkey and cheese. I'd been saving it for later. Later felt like another lifetime ago. The total inventory wasn't good. Maybe 2 days of food if we rationed carefully. 3 days of water. Some basic medical supplies. That was it. There might be more supplies upstairs, someone suggested. Break rooms, vending machines. Too risky, Patricia said. We don't know the structural integrity of the upper floors. And we don't know if there's fallout. So we just sit here and starve, Tom said. His voice was rising, the stress breaking through. We sit here and wait, Patricia said firmly. We wait until we have more information, until we know it's safe. Then we make decisions. But I could see it in everyone's eyes. The same question I was thinking. What if it's never safe? What if the world up there is gone? Another impact. This one made the lights flicker. We'd been running on emergency power, but even that was failing. Someone's phone rang. The sound was so unexpected, so out of place that everyone jumped. It was Jennifer. She grabbed her phone with shaking hands. Hello? Hello? We could hear a voice on the other end. Faint. Broken. Mommy? Jennifer's face crumpled. Baby! Oh my God, baby, are you okay? She was walking away, trying to find a corner with better signal, but the call was already breaking up. Sweetie, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Baby? The call dropped. Jennifer stood there, staring at her phone, willing it to ring again. It didn't. She slid down the wall and curled up, sobbing. The brief connection to her daughter, those few seconds, had somehow made everything worse. I looked around at the group, at the faces lit by phone screens and emergency lights. Everyone was thinking the same thing Jennifer was, wondering about the people they loved, wondering if they were alive or dead, wondering if they'd ever see them again. My phone showed 4:42 p.m., 54 minutes since the first impact. The sounds from above had changed. The impacts had stopped. Now there were other noises, distant rumbling, what might have been collapsing buildings, what might have been fire, and something else. A sound I couldn't identify at first. High-pitched, mechanical, like wind, but not wind. Do you hear that? I asked. Others nodded. Everyone was listening now. The sound was getting louder, coming closer. Patricia moved to the stairwell that led up to B2. She shone her light up the stairs. Smoke. Thick black smoke was pouring down the stairwell. Fire, she said. There's fire above us. Someone started panicking. We're trapped. We're going to suffocate down here. We need to get out. Patricia blocked the stairs. No, we seal this level. Use whatever we can find. Wet cloth under the door. We create a barrier. People moved quickly, tearing strips of cloth from shirts, soaking them with the precious water we'd inventoried, stuffing them around the doorframe. The smoke was getting thicker. I could taste it. Chemical. Burning plastic and rubber and God knows what else. My engineering brain was calculating, analyzing. This basement had ventilation shafts, air circulation. But if those shafts were compromised, if smoke was coming through the entire system, we'd be breathing poison within hours. We needed to close the vents. I told Patricia. She nodded. We found the main ventilation controls, shut them down. Now we were sealed in, airtight, safe from smoke. But with 43 people breathing in an enclosed space, we had maybe 6 hours of air, maybe less. 6 hours to figure out what to do next. 6 hours before we'd have to make a choice. Stay and suffocate, or go up into whatever hell waited above. I didn't tell the others about the 6-hour timeline. Patricia knew. I could see it in her eyes. But neither of us said anything. Sometimes ignorance is mercy. The smoke stopped coming through the stairwell. Whatever was burning above us had either burned out or moved to a different part of the building. We sat in the sealed basement. 43 survivors. 4 dead bodies in the corner that we couldn't move. No communication with the outside world. Limited supplies. Limited air. This is survival, I thought. This is what it looks like when civilization ends. Not dramatic, not heroic. Just people in a basement, waiting to see if they'll live or die. My phone showed 5:23 p.m. 2 hours and 5 minutes since the first alert. 2 hours since the world changed forever. I'm still recording this. I don't know why. Habit, maybe. Or hope that someone will care what happened down here. The others are quiet now. Some are sleeping. Some are staring at nothing. Tom hasn't moved in 20 minutes. Just sitting against the wall, holding his phone. Jennifer is curled up near the bodies. Mourning people she didn't know. Mourning her daughter she can't reach. Patricia is by the door, listening. Always listening. And I'm here, talking into my phone, documenting the end of Chicago, documenting the end of everything. But here's the thing. Here's what I keep coming back to. We're still alive. Against everything, against all probability, we're still alive. The building held. The basement protected us. We made it through the initial attack, which means maybe others did too. Maybe there are other basements, other shelters, other groups of people huddled in the dark, wondering if they're the last ones left. Maybe the world isn't over. Maybe it's just changed. Maybe we can survive this. Or maybe I'm just telling myself that because the alternative is too terrible to accept. It's 5:47 p.m. now. The sounds from above have quieted. No more rumbling. No more collapses. Just silence. And that silence is somehow worse than the noise was. Because silence means it's over. The attack is done. Whatever was coming has come. Now we just have to live with what's left.
224, I was going out there. 233 will be clear on it, and 4, and 2 will both be efficient. Follow the radio, it's 6300 Clarksville.
Sound to sound Pacific.
What you
Out there?
Yes, clear.
The line clear. Pacific.
4423 line, we'll get the mobile station.
Amanda, C7?
Yes, ma'am, we'll be clear, and 233 will be clear on it, and 4, E. Edward, and 2 will both be efficient.
It's 7:34 p.m. We've been sealed in this basement for over 2 hours. The air is getting stale, harder to breathe. Every breath feels thin, insufficient. People are getting restless, anxious. The reality of our situation is settling in. We can't stay down here forever. Patricia called a group meeting. All 43 of us gathered in the dim light of our failing phone batteries. "We need to make a decision," she said. "We have maybe 4 more hours of breathable air, maybe less. We can't wait any longer." "What about the fallout?" someone asked. "What about radiation?" "We don't know if the weapons were nuclear," Patricia said. "That radio broadcast was broken. We don't have confirmed information." "But if they were nuclear?" Jennifer asked. Her voice was hollow. She'd stopped crying hours ago. Now she just sounded empty. Patricia was quiet for a moment. "Then we're dead anyway. If we stay down here, we suffocate. If we go up and there's lethal radiation, we die slower. Either way, staying here isn't an option anymore." The brutal honesty silenced everyone. "I need volunteers," Patricia continued. 2 people to go up with me. Scout the situation, see what's left, see if it's survivable." Nobody moved. I understood why. Going up there meant potentially walking into radiation, into fire, into whatever hell Chicago had become. But staying meant certain death. "I'll go," I said. Everyone looked at me. "I'm a structural engineer," I continued. "I can assess building stability. I know what to look for. If the upper floors are compromised, I can identify safe routes." Patricia nodded. "Okay, one more." Tom stood up. "I'll go." His voice was steady now. The panic from earlier was gone, replaced by something else. Resignation, maybe. Or purpose. "My wife is in Naperville," he said. "My son. If there's any chance they're alive, I need to know. I need to try to reach them." Patricia looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. The 3 of us prepared. We took wet cloth and tied it around our faces as makeshift filters. Took the last working flashlights. Took our phones even though they had no signal. "If we're not back in 1 hour," Patricia said to the group, "assume we're not coming back. You'll need to choose someone else to lead. You'll need to make your own decisions." She didn't say what those decisions might be. She didn't have to. We unsealed the door to the stairwell. Smoke immediately poured in. Not as thick as before, but still present. Chemical. Toxic. We started climbing. B2 was destroyed. The storage level had collapsed. We had to climb over rubble, squeeze through gaps in the wreckage. My flashlight beam showed twisted metal, shattered concrete. Things that used to be furniture now reduced to splinters. There were bodies. I tried not to look, tried not to count. We kept climbing. B1, the parking garage. The cars were crushed. The ceiling had partially collapsed. Some vehicles were burned out, just blackened metal skeletons. But we could see daylight. Cracks in the structure above us, letting in pale light. We climbed toward that light. The ground floor was gone. Just gone. Where there used to be a lobby, there was now open air and rubble. The front of the building had been sheared away, like a dollhouse with the front wall removed. We stood at the edge and looked out at Chicago. I've lived in this city for 15 years. I know every street, every building, every landmark. What I saw wasn't Chicago. It was something else. Something from a nightmare. The skyline was broken. The Willis Tower, that massive black monolith that had dominated the skyline for decades, was leaning. Actually leaning. Its top floors were gone and the remaining structure tilted at an angle that made my engineering brain scream that it should have collapsed already. The John Hancock building was on fire. Massive flames pouring from the upper floors, black smoke rising into the evening sky. Everywhere I looked, buildings were damaged. Some partially collapsed, some completely gone. Just piles of rubble where skyscrapers used to stand. The streets were buried, debris everywhere, cars overturned, fires burning unchecked. No emergency services, no sirens, no helicopters, just smoke and silence. Jesus Christ, Tom whispered. The sky was wrong, darker than it should be at 7:30 p.m. in October. The smoke was so thick it was blocking the sun, creating a twilight that felt unnatural, and the smell. Even through our makeshift masks, I could smell it. Burning, chemicals, and underneath that, something else. Something organic. Death. The city was dead. Look, Patricia said, pointing. In the distance, maybe a mile away, something was glowing. Not fire, something else. A strange greenish light that pulsed and flickered. What is that? I asked. Nobody answered. We stood there for several minutes, just looking, processing, trying to understand the scale of what had happened. Chicago was a city of 2.7 million people. How many were left? How many had made it to shelter? How many were buried in the rubble we could see? We need to check radiation levels, Patricia said. Does anyone have a Geiger counter? We didn't. Of course we didn't. Who carries a Geiger counter? My phone has a radiation detection app, Tom said. It's not accurate, but it's something. He opened the app, held his phone out. We all watched the screen. The readings were elevated, higher than normal background radiation, but not immediately lethal, not yet. Could be scattered fallout, Patricia said. Could be from fires burning radioactive materials. Could be sensor error. We can't know for sure. So what do we do, Jean? I asked. Patricia looked back toward the stairwell, then out at the destroyed city. We go back down, she said. We tell them what we saw. We give them the choice. Stay and suffocate or come up and take their chances. We started back down the stairs. As we climbed, Tom stopped. Wait! He was looking at his phone, staring at it. What? Patricia asked. I have signal, he said. Just one bar, but I have signal. He immediately started dialing, held the phone to his ear. We waited. It's ringing, he said. His voice was shaking. It's actually ringing. Then, Sarah? Sarah. Oh my God, baby, are you okay? He was crying now, sobbing. I'm alive. I'm okay. Are you safe? Is Michael safe? He listened, and his face changed. The relief turned to something else. Horror. What do you mean evacuating? Where are you going? Sarah, listen to me. You need to... The call dropped. Tom stared at his phone. She said they're evacuating Naperville. Military convoys. They're taking people west, away from the city. She said something about a second wave. Something about... His phone rang. He answered immediately. Sarah? But it wasn't Sarah. Tom's face went pale. He was listening to something. Someone on the other end, talking fast. Then he lowered the phone slowly. That was an automated emergency broadcast, he said. It said all survivors in the Chicago area need to evacuate immediately. It said there's another attack coming, a second wave, targeting survivors and rescue operations. When? Patricia asked. It didn't say. Just soon, it said move west. Get at least 50 miles from the city center. It said, "This is not a drill." We looked at each other. A second wave. They weren't done. They were going to hit us again. "We need to go," Patricia said. "Now. We need to get everyone up and moving." We ran back down to B3. The group was exactly as we'd left them. Tired, scared, hoping we'd bring good news. Patricia didn't waste time. The city is destroyed. Radiation levels are elevated but survivable. But we just received an automated broadcast. There's a second attack coming. We need to evacuate. Now. "Where do we go?" Jennifer asked. "West," Patricia said. "Away from the city. 50 miles minimum." "How?" someone asked. "The cars are destroyed. The roads are blocked." "We walk," Patricia said simply. "We walk or we die here." The choice was that simple. It took 15 minutes to get everyone ready. We moved the rubble blocking the stairwell, started helping people up. The injured went first, the man with the broken arm, Jennifer with her limp, others with cuts and bruises. We left the 4 dead bodies behind. There was nothing we could do for them now. As we climbed, I could hear people behind me reacting to what they saw. The destruction, the devastation. Some were crying, some were silent. We emerged onto the ground floor just as the sun was setting. The smoke made it darker than it should be, painting everything in shades of orange and black. 43 survivors stood in the ruins of our building, looking out at the ruins of our city. "Which way is west?" someone asked. I pointed. "That way." Toward the suburbs. Toward the expressway. "The expressway is probably blocked," Tom said. "Then we go around it. We find a way. We keep moving." Patricia organized us into a single file line, told everyone to stay together, to help each other, to not stop unless absolutely necessary. "How far is 50 miles?" Jennifer asked. "A day's walk," Patricia said. "Maybe more in this terrain. But we start now. We can make good distance before dark." "It already is dark," someone pointed out. They were right. The smoke had turned late afternoon into twilight. We started walking. Through the rubble. Over debris. Around fires still burning. I looked back once at our building. It was still standing, barely. The basement that had saved us was now just a tomb for 4 people whose names I never learned. We walked west on what used to be Madison Street. The street signs were still there, twisted and bent, but readable. We passed other buildings, other ruins, and occasionally we saw them, other survivors. A woman sitting on a curb covered in dust, staring at nothing. A man digging through rubble with his bare hands, calling a name over and over. A group of teenagers huddled in a doorway, too scared to move. Patricia tried to tell them about the evacuation order, about the second wave. Some listened. Some didn't respond at all. We kept walking. The city stretched on forever, block after block of destruction. Sometimes we'd see a building that looked intact, and then we'd get closer and realize as soon it was just a facade. The interior was gone, burned out, or collapsed. My phone showed 8:47 p.m. We'd been walking for over an hour, maybe covered 2 miles. At this rate, 50 miles would take a full day. We didn't have a full day. As if responding to my thought, we heard it. A sound from the east, from behind us, from the direction of the lake. A deep rumble. Getting louder. "What is that?" someone asked. I knew what it was. I'd heard that sound before, earlier today, when the first impacts hit. "Incoming," I said. "Everyone down. Now." We dropped to the ground. Some people dove behind debris. Some just fell flat on the pavement. The rumble grew louder, closer. Then the sky lit up. Not from the west where we were heading, from the north. From somewhere in the direction of Evanston, or maybe further. A flash of light so bright it turned night into day for a split second. Then the shock wave hit, weaker than before. We were further away, but still strong enough to feel. Strong enough to make debris shift and dust rise, and everyone press themselves flatter against the ground. The explosion echoed across the city. Then another. Then another. They were hitting the suburbs now, the surrounding areas, trying to catch evacuees, trying to kill survivors. When the explosion stopped, we got up slowly. "Is everyone okay?" Patricia asked. 43 voices confirmed, still alive, still moving. "We need to go faster," Patricia said. "They're bracketing us." Hitting evacuation routes. We need to get ahead of it. But we were exhausted, injured. Some people could barely walk. "There," Tom said, pointing. A parking garage. Somehow mostly intact. Cars inside. Lots of cars. "We need transportation," he said. We ran to the garage, started checking vehicles. Most were locked. Some had been abandoned with keys inside. We found 3 cars that worked. 3 cars with enough gas to maybe get us out of the city. 43 people. 3 cars. We packed in tight. 15 people per car. Way over capacity. Dangerous, but necessary. I ended up driving one vehicle. A Honda SUV with a cracked windshield and a dent in the side, but it ran. We pulled out of the garage and onto the street. The other 2 cars followed. Navigation was difficult. Most streets were blocked. We had to backtrack constantly, find alternate routes, but we were moving, faster than walking, putting distance between us and the city center. My phone, sitting in the cup holder, started buzzing. Not a call, a notification. I glanced at it while navigating around an overturned bus. "Emergency alert. Ballistic missile threat inbound to Chicago metropolitan area. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill." "No," I whispered. "Not again." "What?" Jennifer asked from the passenger seat. I showed her the phone. She started crying again. "How much time?" someone in the back seat asked. I checked the alert. "It doesn't say. Just that it's inbound." "How far are we from the city center?" Tom asked over the radio we'd found in one of the cars. I checked my GPS, still working somehow. "About 8 miles. "That's not far enough," Patricia's voice came through. "We need to be at least 20 miles out to avoid the primary blast radius." "Then we drive faster," I said. I pressed the accelerator. The SUV lurched forward, 40 miles per hour, 50, 60. We were on the Eisenhower Expressway now, still heading west. The road was relatively clear here. Most people had abandoned their cars miles back. Behind us, Chicago burned. Ahead of us, darkness and uncertainty. And somewhere above us, invisible in the smoke-filled sky, missiles were falling. How many? How big? Where would they hit? We couldn't know. We could only drive. My phone showed 9:34 p.m. We'd covered another 15 miles. 23 miles from the city center. Maybe safe, maybe not. The radio crackled. Not our improvised communication, the actual car radio. A voice came through. Official, military. Attention all survivors in the Chicago metropolitan area. This is the United States Northern Command. Multiple hostile missile launches have been confirmed targeting the region. Estimated time to impact, 8 minutes. If you are within 30 miles of downtown Chicago, you will not have time to reach minimum safe distance. Find the nearest substantial structure and take cover immediately. Repeat, take cover immediately. 8 minutes. We were 23 miles out. Not far enough. Not nearly far enough. There, Tom said over the radio. That overpass. We can shelter under it. I saw it. A highway overpass. Concrete and steel. Not much protection, but better than being caught in the open. All 3 cars pulled over. We got out and ran for the overpass. 43 people huddled together under tons of concrete, waiting for the end. Again. I pulled out my phone. Started recording. This is David Rosen. It's October 12th, 2028. 9:42 p.m. We evacuated Chicago. Made it 23 miles west. But there's another attack coming. We're taking shelter under an overpass on the Eisenhower Expressway. I looked around at the faces. 43 survivors. People who had been strangers this morning. People who were now the closest thing to family I had left. If anyone finds this, if anyone survives to hear this, you need to know something. We tried, all of us. We fought to survive. We helped each other. We didn't give up. The sound was building again. That distant rumble. I don't know if we're going to make it through this, but I need someone to know we were here. We existed. We mattered. The rumble was getting louder. Jennifer was praying. Tom was holding his phone, looking at a picture of his family. Patricia was standing at the edge of the overpass, staring east toward the city. The missiles are coming. I can hear them. God, I can hear them. The sky lit up behind us. Multiple flashes. Bright enough to cast shadows even here, 23 miles away. The shock waves hit seconds later, weaker than before. The overpass shook but held. More flashes, more impacts. They were destroying what was left, making sure nothing survived. The bombardment lasted 3 minutes, the longest 3 minutes of my life. When it stopped, we waited. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Finally, Patricia said, "Is that all of them?" Nobody answered. We didn't know. We stayed under that overpass for another hour, waiting, watching the horizon glow orange and red with fires. When it became clear no more missiles were coming, at least not immediately, Patricia made the decision. "We keep moving," she said. "We get further out. Find other survivors. Find military. Find someone who can tell us what the hell is happening." We got back in the cars. I started the engine, pulled back onto the expressway. In the rearview mirror, I could see Chicago, or what used to be Chicago. The entire skyline was gone. Just smoke and fire and darkness. 3 million people lived there this morning. How many were left now? We drove in silence. 43 survivors in 3 cars, heading west into the darkness. And behind us, the city died.